I see you've got.
So Candace Owens, Candace Owens has not let up on Gaza. And she has apparently gone after Trump directly on this issue.
Right now, obviously, is Trump really shocking the world and saying that the USA is just going to take over the Gaza Strip. So he hosted Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel, which I would have never done if I was president of the United States because of the things that he has done. People were asking me about my take on the Gaza situation. But leading up to this moment, there was this vicious attack on me because I said things in support of the Gazan children that were being mercilessly murdered, and it was on my screen, and I didn't want to stand down to that to preserve my media reputation. Like I was happy to be smeared and libeled, to be able to stand up for children. I could never stay silent about what I was seeing happening to these women and these children. My silence just couldn't be bought on the matter. We have at long last arrived to the period where, after a year of gaslighting us and telling us that wasn't happening, like everyone just smearing us in the media, after a year of them calling everybody anti-Semitic who noticed that an ethnic cleansing was taking place, we're just now getting to the point, which is an ethnic cleansing is going to take place. We're going to just move millions of bodies. And now we're going to try to emotionally engineer the public to think that it's acceptable by saying, well, there's nothing left.
There's totally nothing left. We have to move them out. But Mr. President,
where are you moving them?
We're totally going to make a deal. We're going to make a really great deal with Syria, with Egypt, and with Jordan, and we're going to put them there.
But here's the thing: like, let's say hypothetically he does that, which again, the amount of
caucasity,
the caucasity, but like he's so frigging ignorant. Like, to him, this is just any other transaction. It's beachfront. We'll give them beachfront somewhere else. They'll be happy. Like, it's all just interchangeable. But the problem is when he's sitting there and saying, "Oh, it's all rubble now. There's nowhere for them to go." There's nowhere for them to go somewhere else. You would still have to build them an infrastructure and a place to go somewhere else. So why wouldn't you do that where they are? Right. So she's right. I mean, this is just flat out ethnic cleansing. The whole world sees it. And it's going to be part of the decline of empire. It's almost hard to still get angry about it. It's just so ridiculous at this point.
We'll continue.
Our bombs bombed it all. Why would they want to go back there? There's nothing left, which we have on tape. Bibi Netanyahu saying that before October 7th, him caught on tape saying we have to make the punishment so severe and so harsh that the Palestinians won't want to go back because there's nothing there. He said this, okay? I showed it on my show and I didn't care about the figurative bullets that were coming my way because those bullets were figurative and they weren't real. And what I saw in terms of the kids being target practiced on in Gaza made me sick to my stomach. And so one of the other favored lies about me in the media is that I agree with everything Trump says and he does. And I could not disagree more with this. I could not have been more vocal in my lack of support for any person who, whether left or right, who claims to be a good and a compassionate person who is okay with what is happening and what they are saying they're going to do. All statements which are on record before October 7th even happened. And in terms of Trump talking about the real estate of the property, saying they have to go, and Jared Kushner was on tape speaking about how much worth the property could be. And so for those of us who said, are there people who have already invested in this property and want to see it being built up because they are going to make a ton of money because the plan is to move these people from their homeland somewhere else? And we were called conspiracy theorists and we were called anti-Semites. This is truly a moment of vindication.
She's right.
Emily Austin, who I pointed out earlier, I really like targeting her because I really don't like her. And
I don't know who it is. I mean, other than you saying
I'm just, well, first of all, I have no doubt that she's connected to the Mossad. But the point is, Emily, who has a 2 million plus Instagram following, has relentlessly gone after Candace Owens, calling her an anti-Semite and, the traditional Zionist attempts.
I mean, I don't love propping up Candace Owens. I mean, other than on Gaza, I don't think I've ever agreed with her.
No, but when you have a platform as large as hers and you're willing to risk a substantial amount of blowback, because remember, one of the things that happens with a lot of these channels is audience capture. Many of them are way too concerned about whether or not they're going to say something that's going to turn people off. Colin suggested that one of the reasons we lost some subscribers was because we had Evan Barker on the show who talked about the fact that she supported Trump. And it's like, I don't think our channel is like that, but anything's possible. That people don't want to hear us talking to people like that. It is what it is. But we have a mission that has nothing to do with whether we capture an audience or not. Now, I don't think that is necessarily not the case with somebody like Candace Owens, but clearly she is very passionate about this specific issue, and everything she points out about it is correct. She's not attempting in any way to walk a fine line regarding this issue and think, well, am I going to piss off this donor or that donor, etc. No, she's basically saying, I'm willing to take a risk. If it's going to cost me economically, so be it. I believe in my ability. Good for her. I give her credit for that, for sure.
Okay. It is a moment of vindication, and I do not agree with it at all. Not at all. Now they're saying that the UK should take these people. And this just puts us on that circle. You know, it really is just, it's loony. You have the people in the UK and other countries going, I don't recognize my country. Why don't I recognize my country? Why is this country becoming majority Muslim population? And they don't want to connect the dots and say, well, you know, which country is not becoming majority population, just seems to be expanding its borders all the time? Israel. And we keep fighting their wars or funding their wars. We haven't stopped doing that. So as they become more ethnocentric, as they keep getting more land, as they keep having strict rules about who is allowed to commute there, our countries are looking very different. Why would they want to stay home? Because they recognize where they are. So if you're going to build it big and you're make it beautiful, Trump, let them stay there while you do it. I'm sure they would be very happy to do that. And for those of you who can't even imagine, just take a second to pause and think about the fact that for 2 years, these people have been walking on foot, children crying. Find it. It's online. Go look at it. Bleeding, kids being shot in the head. Okay, they're saying 20,000. We know it's now more because of the number that they're giving us in terms of saying how many people have to be moved. It's simple math of how many people are dead there. How many majority women and children are dead in this area. So you imagine you go back and forth. Finally, it is over. And you are now being told that, well, you are going to be really happy because we're going to put you in a country where nobody speaks your language, no one understands you. And you're just going to, I don't know, be in the UK, be in Ireland. Isn't that a better plan? Won't you be happier there than in the rubble of the place of your ancestors? Isn't that better for you? It's evil.
You mean like the anti-Muslim bigotry that permeates all through most of Europe? You know, go there. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, there's a lot of problems with the ethnic cleansing comes with problems on every end, right? Like you've got, it's because it's wrong, because it's just wrong. It's absurd that they're talking about this. I have been saying for a year and a half that this is going to end with 2 million dead people in a desert. I do not understand how people are not locking onto these numbers that he's throwing around and questioning where are you getting those numbers, because his numbers that Trump is spewing out intimate that he's aware that 500,000 people are dead. And that honestly, I still think that's going to be low. And I want also people to understand that when they give you those numbers that are the fatalities, the casualties, those numbers, those only include people that are killed by direct violence, right? So anybody that has died because they can't get health care, anybody that is starved, children that have had heart attacks from fear, babies that have frozen to death, those people are not counted in the numbers. And obviously, when you have a genocide, as it was with the Holocaust, if you don't count the numbers of people that died from famine, cold, disease, you're about half of your numbers. You're about half of your numbers. I mean, it's just so silly, and they don't include that. So that is the first problem with that. Yes, that's what, let me tell you, do the math, people. How many people, women have been giving birth without anesthesia, people getting limbs amputated without anesthesia, no antibiotics, no health care, no food. Like, how do people think we're still under even 50,000? How are we under 100,000 people? That is off the wall. That does not make sense.